Hello, everybody. It is Thursday, and it's a special BODS Mayhem Hour live podcast. It's our year-end review and top albums of 2021. And this year has been a little bit better for some of us, but hey, we just got to do what we got to do. So I have a special guest on here. I have Kevin Akers with me on here as well. He does interviews for me, on-site interviews. He does reviews for Metal Nexus. And also we have Mr. Josh Crum of Downtrend and Diary of the Madman, the Ultimate Ozzy Osborne podcast. He's on here all the time, who helps me out with all my photos and things like that because I suck at doing photos.
He does.
And then we have my bro, Dave McAnally from the Risen Cult. He's on here with us as always. So, how you guys doing?
Good, man. Good. Hanging in another year.
Yep. Doing well.
Doing great, man.
So, how was your guys' Christmas?
Man, I'm at that phase where Christmas for me is up at 5 a.m. and assembling doll furniture by 6 a.m. and breakfast is done by 7. And so yeah, good times. But it was good, We it was hot or practically hot here in Chicago, like 60s. So
yeah, was here too, actually.
Yeah.
Kentucky. Yeah.
I'm ready for snow. This is like an adult life goal of mine is I got a hot tub this year. So I've been like waiting for like that blizzard condition so I can sit in the thing, and didn't happen this Christmas, but hopefully Saturday. So
yeah, I got a friend that lives up your way, and he sent me the weather forecast earlier today. Said it's coming this weekend. So you guys can keep it up there. We'll keep it nice and sunny down here as long as we can.
We don't want it here.
Right on. I'm good with snow. I work in the house. My wife works right down the street. Bring it on, man.
What about you, Kevin?
Yeah, man, we had a good Christmas. Spent a lot of time with the family, and it's always a good thing. And it was a little bit unseasonably warm here as well. So,
where are you at, Kevin?
I'm in Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh, right.
I'm about 2 hours 15 minutes from these guys.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I'd say Kevin's like Clark Griswold's dad. He probably had a little help from Jack Daniels through his Christmas.
No, I don't drink the Tennessee stuff now. It's all Kentucky bourbon.
Bourbon. Look, John's already distracted. We're 2 minutes in. He's already getting distracted over there.
No, I get messages and people want to know what's wrong. Some girl said you was pretty hot, Josh. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
Watch him now. Yeah,
tell her it's clearly this faded like camera thing I got going on. She can't really see me that good. So, if she could really see Kevin down there, she would really.
Hey, that's right. You know it.
I would say something, but that'll get me banned on here. I was going to say Kevin's like the Peter North of the podcast.
So, how about you, John? Was your Christmas good, man? Tell us about yourself.
It's horrible. $50 and a pack of socks. Hallelujah. There you go. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Give me a damn.
I know you're not really a big fan of it. I know that.
It keeps on giving all year long, man.
That it does, Clark.
Yeah.
That it does. that it does, Eddie. That it does.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law's been giving me socks every Christmas for 10 years. So,
hey.
I got them for my mother-in-law this year also, man. 2 packs. Champion.
Good ones this year.
You know.
Yeah, I can see mine right there. It's so funny.
You know what? I mean, I dig the socks. I don't care. I'll take them every day. Somebody wants to give me a pack of socks, I'm fine with that. But where I'm a diabetic, I got to get some like diabetic socks. So we went from the year-end review of metal to, hey, I got some socks here.
Well, when you get middle-aged men on here, what do you expect, man? This is what lives are about right now. Yeah.
Lord of mercy. Good Lord. This podcast already went to hell. Good times. Hey, here we go again.
Already distracted again, I swear, John.
Derek's trying to get in here. His browser, something's wrong with the browser and everything. So that's cool.
Tell him to copy and paste it up there. So that's what I had to do.
His browser's not supported.
Oh.
What it's saying. That sucks, man. We'll get him on here some other time, for sure. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying I'm on a Mac on Chrome. Got in, no problem.
Yeah.
I'm using the same thing. I'm using a Mac and had no issues.
I use an HP, and my co-host on my show uses a Mac, and he bitches at me every episode. He's like, dude, you got to get a Mac. You're killing me with that.
Once you go Mac, you don't go back.
Oh,
It appears that way.
geez. Goodness.
I will say you guys look so nice and clear. And like I said, I got this hazy kind of thing going, you know. That and it could have Cheech, but you're burning one. I don't know, whatever. But
I look pretty good to be on a podcast. I don't know about you all. You know.
always.
Anyway, so
John's always looking good.
Thanks, man. I've been working out. Not really, you know. What you want to eat, you know, stuff like that. I need to get Jeff Dunham on here because that'll be absolutely hilarious.
Me and Kevin had plans for John and Lakes. Next time we go to Louisville together, don't we, Kevin?
Oh yeah.
We got
Other
big
than
plans
live
for
next year,
John.
son, be prepared.
Yeah, like I'm going live 2022, son. It's going down for you.
Hey.
It's going down for real.
Oh man, Lord, I'm gonna have to go take it's gonna turn AC on now. Turn AC on. So, Dave, let's jump back to you here for a minute, man. What's going on with Derision Cult coming up for 2022? I know you had the EP that just come out this year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had that. And I did the Sis Machine project, which, hey, there he is.
Yes, there. Oh, got you, brother man.
Made it work.
And jumping here late, we have Derek Obscura. He is from the Casket Creatures and Davy Suicide. So welcome to the podcast, man. Can you hear us?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good deal, good deal. So Dave was talking about. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. So that EP came out. I did another project called Sis Machine, which is kind of more electronic down tempo things. Had that come out, and working next year with actually this is the first time I've publicly said it, but with Sean Payne from Cyanotic and Conform Co. on the next Derision Cult stuff, and we're getting demos together and things like that now. So really looking forward to that. There's going to be some guests on that like knock on wood will come together. So shooting for maybe next year at this time for that. So be working on that. But yeah, no, that last album went well. You know, got attention of a lot more people in the Chicago industrial area. So
Good.
Yeah, good stuff, man.
Good deal. What about you, Josh and Downtrend? You guys gonna finally get something out this year coming up, or don't know? Or
we're definitely laying low key right now. We have a really big show announcement coming up that I ain't quite privy to say just yet. I'll tell you later. I wish I could tell it. I hate to be that guy, but other than that, we really haven't done anything for the past year. You know, last summer we played one gig when the pandemic slowed for a little bit, and we haven't been back at it at all this past summer. So we're anxious to get back out there. I've been putting more of my focus on the podcast and doing that whole thing right now while the band's kind of laying low, but definitely anxious to get the guys back together and write some new material. We haven't written new material in several years now, especially the pandemic's been 2 damn years now. You know what I mean? So, I'm all about releasing some new stuff. So I would definitely like to get together and write some new stuff. So we'll see.
I would ask Kev, but me and Kev's not in no bands or anything like that. So
no bands.
no bands. So we'll scoot down here to my bro Derek. What about the Casket Creatures, man? When are you guys gonna put something out new? Finally, come on.
We got a lot of stuff in the works. Wrote a bunch of stuff over these quarantine years. I think just a matter of figuring out, piecing together what's there, going through it, seeing what works, what needs to be reworked, getting into the studio. I think, for the shows that we did do this year and that started doing that, we're just more excited to get back out there and play live and do some stuff. And then, kind of focused on recording and new albums. But at the time, we're just excited to be doing some live shows and putting effort into that. And then really it's just going to be sit down. We do have about 15 to 20 songs roughly done. But we all just want to kind of go through it, sift through them, figure out this one's good, this one's not, let's change this, So slowly but surely we'll get there and have a new release. Definitely 2022 for sure.
What about Davey Suicide? Have you guys not touring right now? Because I've thought I saw you guys were touring or not touring. What's going on?
Yeah, we just got done. We went out October, November with Combi Christ and did a headline thing after that. New stuff for him. He put out. We did the single "Afraid of Americans," but as far as like album stuff, probably still a long ways down the road. I think right now we're aiming to go back out springtime, so that'll be the next step for that project.
Hopefully get Davey on here sometime. That'll be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So, fellas, have you guys got your top 10, 20, 30, 40 albums, whatever, of 2021 ready? I'm anxious to hear all these. So,
Lucky for me, our last episode we covered this, so I already had my list ready to go. I just had to fish it out of the trash can a minute ago, and
wow, and
there was zero prep work for me to do this. I done it last week on my show, so it's all good.
In the trash can. There you go.
Yeah.
What about you, bro, Derek? You got your list ready, man?
Yeah, it's funny that you brought this up about this because I was just posting about it today on Facebook. As far as like top 5, there's only one that is purely number 1, and the rest just kind of be whatever order. Number 1 for sure for me is the Eternal Blue album by Spiritbox that came out. I've been a fan of them for a while now, so I'm stoked they finally got a full, good release under their belt, and they're kicking ass, doing all this crazy stuff, which is great. I think they're starting to get the world's eye on them, which is really cool since they're extremely talented and a very good band. So that's purely number 1 for me. The rest of them, I have to say, All Hail the Yeti Within the Hollow Earth. Super stoked on that release. I love those dudes for years. So anytime they put something new out, I'm grateful for. And it's killer album. Then gotta give it up. Thoroughly enjoyed the new Limp Bizkit. Was happy with that. And then Cradle of Filth's new one, I really like a lot. I listened to it again last night just to double check, and I was like, this is really good. The riffs and the melodies and just kind of the new song, not really style, but they're doing something a little different on this album, which I'm enjoying and like it a lot. And then rounding it out, I have to go with the new Trivium album as well, in Core of the Dragon. It was kind of a toss-up on that one, or the new Rob Zombie, which I do like a lot. But I think fully musically together, the Trivium album squeaks in the top 5 for me.
I'll say this right now. The All Hail the Yeti. Eddie's Lord of God. Lord mercy. All Hail the Yeti. That EP / full-length, man, is just mind-blowing. That thing is absolutely gold in my book. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to it on Spotify. I mean, I've listened to it, and it just don't get old. It is so good. Yeah, that's a great album. I'm glad it made your top 5, man. So, Mr. Dave McAnally, what about you, sir?
Yeah. I don't think I didn't think of these in terms of order, but definitely echo what Derek said. I think that Rob Zombie album is awesome. I love. I felt like this one they let John Five shine a little more, and there's a lot more bluesy stuff on there, which is super cool. So love that. Kind of top to bottom, I have a list here. There's a band from Chicago called the Joy Thieves. Have an album called American Parasite. So Chris Connolly from Ministry, Revolting Cocks, all those Chicago bands, sings on a bunch of it. And it's what I love about that is it's like punk industrial. It's very, very, it reminds me of like Palehead and PTP and things like that. So super cool. I think that new Ministry album, Moral Hygiene, is killer. It's got Jello Biafra back in the mix. I love that Stooges cover where it's all slowed down. That was really cool. I think that new Exodus album, Persona Non Grata, is it's old school. It makes me feel like I'm in high school again. So love that one. That feels like an awesome return to form. I like that new Gojira album. Fortitude, I think is really, really solid. The Fear Factory album, Aggression Continuum. It's great, sort of bittersweet because I think that's the end of Burton in that band, from as near as I can tell. So that was sort of it is what it is, right? I think that Frontline Assembly album, Mechanical Soul, came out. It's really, really solid. I'm seeing them in April. Going to be VIP for that, so looking forward to that. But outside of there's a couple other things that, just kind of outside metal and stuff. James McMurtry put an album out in September called The Horses and the Hounds, which he's a fantastic songwriter. And, just as a lyricist, he's been a favorite of mine for a long time. And then kind of down by your neck of the woods, or Southern Indiana, I guess, Reverend Peyton's new album is absolutely killer. If you're into blues and old, pre-rock guitar, that's a fucking awesome album. So yeah, I think those are really good. There's a band from Germany I discovered this year called Miss Suicide. Actually did a remix on the Sis Machine album I did, and I've been listening to them a ton lately, so I gotta give a shout out to that too. There's an album called In Mods We Trust that came out in May. Love that one a lot. And then the woman who helped me with vocals on the Sis Machine album has a band called Bow Ever Down, and her album Let It Burn has some really production on that. It's fantastic. Very dark wave stuff. But I think those are mine.
I want to give a quick shout out to Ryan Beavers, who said Spirit Box is fantastic. Very, very good album. Very good band, too. And also Stephen Strange, who's, what's up, guys? So if anybody has a question or wants to comment or anything, they can put it in the chat room. We'll be more than happy to answer them and give you our intake on it. Or if you want to throw some albums in that you guys like, hey, put them on in here, because this is all diverse, folks. This is not like set in stone. What we say goes. This is just our own opinions, So you may not like what we say, then hey, that's fine and dandy. But I want to go back here to the Rob Zombie album. I've not got to listen to that thing at all, honestly. But to hear you guys talk about John 5 shine a little bit more on this album, it kind of puts me in mind of the new Black Label Society with Doom Crew, because like we talked about, Josh, Dario got to shine a little bit more on this album. And that's kind of weird to Zach to say, hey, go ahead and shine on some more. So what do you think about that, guys?
Yeah, totally. Way overdue, by the way. I think any Black Label Society fan would tell you that as much as we love Zakk Wylde, it got stale. It just got stale. And I think allowing Dario and the band to participate more in this album was absolutely the fuel that set this one off, because it's his best album in quite a while.
I haven't really listened to him much yet. I put it on once while I was working, but I'll have to give that. I have to agree with you. I think Black Label's kind of, it did feel kind of like, the last couple albums, you heard them one, you heard them all. So it's totally different.
Yeah, and you hated to admit it. You didn't want to say it out loud, because we all love Zakk and we love Black Label, but it was like it staled out. And this one kind of had the energy of a band, even though Zakk already had the songs written and such, but still it had more of a band energy to it than just Zakk, in the studio doing everything himself. So I think it really helped that one.
That's cool.
So for you, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'll have to check that out.
What about you, Derek? What about the Rob Zombie album for you that stuck out the most, man? Because Dave's saying the guitar playing for John 5, since it's both in your guys' top 5, top 10, whatever. But for you, what was it about that album, man, that stood out a lot for you?
I do agree on the guitar stuff with John 5. There was a lot where it just seems like he's just kind of open, not really a script, and he's just kind of doing the John 5 thing, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing was the first actual track on the album just reminded me a lot of White Zombie, and there's like a lot of that I feel within it, which is cool. Going back to that older, the roots, I guess. Really, too, a lot of it, was a little heavier. The one that's like it's such a long title as they all are, but the one like the Western like ghost town song is super cool and unique. So like each one's kind of different. There's some heavier stuff, which is nice to hear, and then some off the wall stuff, which you expect, but it's kind of a different twist on it, which makes it cooler. But a lot too, like just the sound's different. The John 5 thing is definitely, he's on there for sure. Like not necessarily showing off, but it's definitely seems like he has more space to do what he does, which adds a lot to songs.
Yeah, because it's like it's not like a guitar. It's not like a Yngwie Malmsteen album,
right?
It's very like, you know, like, and that's the thing about John 5 is like, you know, that dude's played with everybody, you know, like Katie Lang and, you know, Leonard Skinner, and, you know, he's playing with Rob Zombie, and, you know, I think he's got to be one of the most diverse guitarists in terms of kind of what his resume is. That's like how this album felt, you know, like there's a track on there. It's called Boom, 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 which kind of the opposite of Rob Zombie's long titles. But that is like a very country. It's country guitars with like industrial rhythms.
Right.
That kind of stuff. That's awesome. And that suits Rob Zombie so well. So I felt like this album, they did a lot better job. I shouldn't say better job, but it felt like those sorts of elements of different sounds clashing kind of came to life a lot more on this one. They'd always kind of hinted at it, I think, probably since that Educated Horses album, but this one, it felt like it really came into its own. So, yeah, there was a lot of just mashing styles and everything, but yeah, to that point, it's not just a bunch of guitar wankery. It's, you know, well thought out.
Yeah, it's not just that, like the stuff that John does on this one, where it's, you know, him. It's very tasteful to the songs.
Since the pandemic, guys, do you think that these bands, especially you guys, Dave and Derek, bands have had more time to process these albums that they're putting out? They've got more time, and this is why they're sounding better than, say, previously, besides rushing, getting all this crap out? Because before, you know, me and Josh had this conversation many times. It just seems like it's so rushed. It's the same old stuff over and over and over. Does it just seem like it's more, I don't know, taking more time now and just not rushing things?
Possibly. Sticking on that Rob Zombie one, the story I heard is that was in the can for a while. So I don't know if that predates the pandemic or not. But, you know, maybe. I think, you know, I know with definitely that Ministry album, you know, every interview I've read with Al Jorgensen, you know, kind of what's he going to do but sit around and make music? And I heard he's already got another Ministry album and a Lard album ready to go. So I think in some cases, yeah. I've heard a lot of artists say, too, that being holed up is kind of bad for creativity, you know, if you're not out playing. And, you know, I think it affects people different ways. But definitely, you know, at least with the Ministry, it seemed like that was the case, that they definitely, you know, used the time wisely.
All right, Mr. Kevin Akers. What about you, my friend?
I'll keep on the same topic here. My number 5 album is the Rob Zombie album, The Lunar Injection Kool-Aid Eclipse Conspiracy is the full name of the album. And I agree with everything that's said. It seems like that Zombie and John 5 had a blast making this album. They mixed so many different genres. There's, you know, heavy metal, classic rock, country western, blues. I mean, they just had a blast with this album. And I think The Triumph of King Freak may be one of the best songs they've ever written. I love that song.
Okay.
That is my number 5. My number 4 is Spirit Box's Eternal Blue. The album came out the same weekend they played at Louder Than Live. So I actually saw them perform those songs before I listened to them on the album. And they were killer there. The album's killer. For people who haven't listened to it yet, it kind of reminds me of, I call it pop metal, because it has some pop vibes to it, pop rock vibes to it, but it's really heavy when it's heavy, and Courtney can scream as good as anybody. And it's just a wonderful album. My number 3 is Evanescence, The Bitter Truth. I'm not sure if it's because they used the orchestra in their previous album, but the guitar riffs in that album are heavy. And you put her voice behind those riffs, and I think it's their best album since the debut. My number 2 album is Bullet for My Valentine, self-titled album. And their last album was atrocious. I went through 1 or 2 songs. I couldn't even get through the whole album. And it's a complete reversal to that album. I think it's, they changed some band members and it's like a completely different band. Every song on the album is an absolute banger. And I would put their first 3 songs up against any song they've ever done. It's really heavy, really catchy, great album. And my number 1 album is Gojira's Fortitude. And I think it's an absolute masterpiece. And it is amazing that band keeps putting out masterpiece after masterpiece. And it's probably safe to say that they may be the greatest metal band working right now. I mean, everything they do is just absolutely perfect. I love everything about it.
Yeah, I'm kind of late to the party with them too. Kind of my wife's actually the bigger metalhead in my family, and she's the one who's like, "You gotta listen to these people, you idiot." And just this last year, that album's really that's been my gateway drug is Fortitude.
I keep going
they
back.
played at Louder Than Life, and that was their first show in over 2 years. So they every song off the album they played was the live debut, and it was incredible getting to see that in person.
That's cool.
I keep going back to Rob Zombie, and I'm sorry, guys, we'll move on, but there's just stuff about this you guys are talking about. But the reason is because you guys are so impressed with it, and I'm kind of on the edge with Rob Zombie and stuff because once you heard one, you heard them all. I'm sad to say, but with this album, is this what you're wanting to hear from Rob and the band from here on out? Is this what you guys are wanting to hear?
I think it's definitely his, his lane. I mean, he sort of has kind of that sort of hillbilly industrial, vibe, and I think he's always been inching toward that. And going back to like Hellbilly Deluxe, which basically sound like White Zombie with samples, to now where it seems like it's really a full. Yeah, it feels like he's found his lane. But I hear what you're saying, John, because like I think Rob's, he definitely has a shtick, and, I think within that box, it's kind of hard to stretch and find new ground and all that. But I think it feels like it was successful to me. It's not like Rob Zombie's going to turn around and make like a really strong, hard-nosed like political album or something like that,
Okay, I'm moving on from that album.
It's kind of not really. Actually, I want to comment on that. It's kind of like what we were saying about Black Label. Rob got stale. I mean, there's no question about it. The last 3 or 4 albums have been stale. This new one, I'll be honest, I've listened to it twice. It didn't take me the way it has you guys, but listening to the 3 of you, like I'm going to go back and revisit it again tonight or tomorrow because I'm worried that maybe I didn't give it enough time to really set in, that maybe it's better. I did think it was okay, but you guys are making me realize that maybe I need to listen to it a little bit closer.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely check that out.
He's definitely not someone that should be putting an album out every 6 months,
Oh man. All right, Mr. Joshua Crum. What about you, sir?
All right. I actually have 10 because, like I said on my podcast, we did this last week, so I have 10 lit lists. I'll just go through them real quick. Number 10 for me is Light the Torch with You Will Be the Death of Me. Big Howard Jones fan. Love his time with Killswitch Engage. I love Jesse Leach, man, but there's something about Howard Jones' vocal that just takes me better. He has a very melodic sound, and I tend to like whatever band he is in. Number 9, I have Intercorrupted by Raw. Big fan of those guys. They've been on hiatus for about 10 years, so it's kind of good to see their reemergence. Number 8, I have Volbeat, Servant of the Mind. I think Volbeat is the gift that keeps on giving. Do all the albums kind of sound alike? Yes. Do I fucking love them? Yes. So just give me more of it. I'm cool with it. Number 7 for me is KK's Priest with Sermons of the Sinner. If you're a Judas Priest fan, check out this fucking record. It is phenomenal.
Mhm.
Ripper Owens is on it with KK, and it's slamming as hell. I've heard a lot of the comments were that the lyrics were cheesy and shit. I love cheesy lyrics in my metal. It don't bother me at all. Like, who cares? As long as the groove is good, I'm there. Number 6, I have Beartooth with Below.
Yes.
Beartooth is a band that I'm also late to the party on. It took this release. I kept seeing so much press about it. And I finally went and checked it out, man. And it is a fucking stellar record. So now I've backed up and listened closer to the other ones. I think me and Kevin's like interviewed them before and not even care or know who they were. Now I'm like, oh yeah, these guys are fucking awesome. Like, number 5 for me is Jerry Cantrell's solo album, Brighton. Big fan of this one. If you like Alice in Chains, it's killer because it sounds like Alice in Chains, but it sounds like Jerry Cantrell solo at the same time. It's exactly what I want from him. It is Alice in Chains-ish, but slightly different. This is it should be. It's a good album. So it brings me to 4, which I have Wolfie Van Halen and Mammoth WVH. Wolfie gets a lot of shit from everybody because he's overweight and because he's 80s kid. If you haven't taken the time to listen to this record, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's fucking amazing. He plays every instrument. He engineered it. He produced it. He done everything. And it was recorded at 5150 Studios. It's fucking excellent. That brings me to number 3, an album that I was jamming actually on the way home from work today. The new Chevelle that I'm going to obliterate the title. Naradius. Kevin, can you help me out with that?
I think you're good with that. I think that's what it's called.
It is fucking awesome. I'm not going to lie. Chevelle is a band that I'd kind of given up on. I loved them early on. And the last few albums never really caught me at all. This one is fucking amazing. Tons of groove. It's killer. Number 2, I'm going back to my guys in Black Label Society. I think this was a return to form for Zakk Wylde. I think it's his best album since Order of the Black, which is probably my favorite Black Label record. And just really enjoyed this one, man. I had it, for 2 weeks straight, it was nonstop. So I definitely enjoyed that one. And at number 1 is a little more closer to my heart, but my co-host, Mr. Dan Drago, put out a solo record called The Dream Is Over. So I'm giving Dan the nod at number 1 because I know how much hard work he put into that album. Being a regional artist myself, I know how little respect we get for it, and I know it sucks dick that no one wants to listen to our shit and comment on it. So Dan, just so you know, man, I'm giving it the love right now. The Dream Is Over by Dan Drago. Go check it out.
Man, I totally didn't realize that Jerry Cantrell album's out now.
Yeah, dude. What the crap?
It's fucking killer.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check that out. Wow.
Very good album. Very good album. That's on my list. I've got like 50 on my. No, I'm just kidding. I got 20. I actually got 20 on my list. So, Josh mentioned one that didn't make my list, and I should have put it on there. Was KK's Priest, man. I totally forgot about that one.
But I dug it, man. I think it was what it was supposed to be. It sounds like a Judas Priest record, for KK and for Ripper Owens, and it's fucking killer. Have you all listened to another band that was close to making my list but didn't? Have you all listened to Unto Others?
Never heard of them.
They're kind of new also, but you'll definitely like them. Check them out. They have kind of a 80s meets screamo meets modern metal kind of thing. It's kind of all their own sound. It's pretty cool too.
Right
Any
on.
new stuff, send it to me so that way I can get these people out here, man.
And our guy that commented here, Ryan Beavers, he helps us work on our shows sometimes. I know he's a massive fan of a band called Green Lung. Are y'all familiar with Green Lung?
No.
Check them out also. They're fucking killer. Yeah, they're like foreign. They're Swedish or something, but they're awesome also.
That KK's Priest, didn't Dave Ellefson play bass on that too?
Not that I'm aware of, but I'm not going to say he didn't. He may have.
I could have sworn he was on that. Either way, yeah, I'll definitely have. I knew that was out. I just hadn't gotten around to it yet.
Dave's new band, the Lucid, they're not bad either. They sound pretty good.
Yeah,
I haven't heard it yet.
They sound pretty good. All right. I'll do my long 20-some bands here. Some of these are going to surprise you guys, and y'all going to look at me like I'm crazy. But that's okay. I've been looked crazy before. So anyway. And where they placed that, too. Okay, so number 22, Dirty Honey, self-titled album. Great band, rock band. I think that they're an upcoming band that's going to take the rock world by surprise, in my opinion. I mean, they're just a raw, dirty band, man. They have some great music out there.
Great live band.
Yes. Well, here's Chevelle coming in at 21. I'm a huge Chevelle fan, and unlike Josh, I like all their stuff. But hey, everybody has their own cup of tea. So, and I'm not going to pronounce that name, so I cannot say it. Narratia.
I think it's like Naradius or something. Who knows?
Naradius.
It's the new Chevelle.
Yeah, the new Chevelle album. Naratias. There we go. Number 20 is Mark Tremonti, Marching in Time. That's a good album. I'm just going to run through these guys. A new band that you guys may want to check out. It's called Malison, Malison, Malison. Death's Embrace, good album. Fear Factory, Aggression Continuum. Just like Dave said, this was Burton's last stuff. So from here on out, it's just going to be Dino and whoever he has to sing for him. So we'll see what all that happens going forward. Number 17, I got Sick Brain, Ashtray for Your Agony. That's kind of like an industrial band in a way. I like some industrial stuff. I guess it's rave stuff anyway. Dream Theater, View from the Top of the World. Dream Theater finally come back out with some stuff. I think they came out with an EP last year, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. These ladies are kicking ass right now. A band called Plush, the self-titled album Plush. If you guys get a chance to listen to those ladies, they are good. They did a cover of Alice in Chains, Down in a Hole. Phenomenal. Really, really good cover. But their stuff that they do actually is good too. Another good one here that Dave talked about was Exodus, Persona Non Grata. Good freaking heavy album. Cannibal Corpse, Violence Unimagined. That's a brutal album. And Cannibal Corpse has been around for years. And, death metal kind of just gets stale a little bit too, just like everything else. But this is a pretty good album. Another band kind of took a hiatus, and they finally come back out with some good stuff with Gemini Syndrome, Third Degree, The Raising. Good band. Kevin may like this band because he likes stuff like this, like I do, and I hope I pronounce their name right. Is Turnstile, Glow On, in case you guys ever heard of them. They're a good live band, really good live band. I know Josh will like this. Roy Acup, live at the Opry. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, I think Downtrend opened that show actually, right?
Probably. Hey, it's a show.
Is that the Mountain Art Center? Okay, yeah, so I thought.
Lars Fredriksson of Rancid, To Victory. Phenomenal album.
I enjoyed that.
And I wish Rancid would come out with some new stuff. Old school stuff like they used to play.
For sure, yeah.
What about Ginger, guys? Ginger's new album, Wallflowers. Good band.
Good album.
Yeah.
And I know I cannot pronounce this name, and I'm just going to take a swipe at it because ever since I heard these guys when I had them on the podcast, I absolutely like their album. Agstrakig. Sky. I cannot. The guys from Sweden, you need to get some new names. I'm sorry. There's some names that we can pronounce because I cannot say shit on here. Agstrakig.
And some font we can read, right?
Oh, don't get me started on that death metal shit. I can't think. What? That looks like a damn tree over there. What's that tree upside down? I don't know what the hell it is.
That's the truth.
Anyway, Angstrig, these guys are really good. I like their dark mystique band. They was, like I said, one of the guys was on the podcast, did not have a clue who his actual persona was or anything like that. It was just a member of Ostrich. That was it. I keep wanting to say ostrich, and I'm sorry, but that's just what the name looks like. Go check out their album, Skig. Oh my God, SKYGGESPIL. That one. Anyway, good album. Jerry Cantrell, he made the top 7 of this. Brighton, Dave, go check it out, dude. It's good.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a bad song on that Jerry Cantrell album.
No, I don't think so either. I enjoyed the whole thing.
So, is this his third self-titled album, or is this or solo album, or is this his first one?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, because he had that Boggy Depot and then
Yeah,
Right.
degradation trip, and then this. Yeah.
Yeah.
That Boggy Depot album, man, that was like that didn't leave my CD player for like a year.
yeah. If I'm not mistaken, too, me being the Aussie fanatic of the group, that album had Mike Board and Rob Trujillo on rhythm section, I think.
Yeah, I saw him on that tour, and he had those guys playing with them there.
Yeah, oh, it's killer. I like to sing that.
It was them, Days of the New, opening for Metallica.
Awesome.
Crazy show.
Days of the New went away. There's another band I like to see that was stuck around.
Listen, we were direct support for the Days of the New one night, and of course he no-showed. Like, band was there, dude no-showed the singer, can't think of his name, and we had to headline. It was not what people paid for.
Here's a guy who's in the band that opened for remember that he like when that first album came out, he like the whole band imploded and the rest of the guys started a band called Tantric.
Yeah.
Played with them.
Yeah.
And, that's cool.
Yeah.
So at 6, I got Mastodon, Hushed, and Grim. That's a really, really good album. Very good album.
That was one that was so close, and I was struggling with it to get it in there. But
It just missed my list as well.
Oh, really? Come on, guys. Come
I
on,
probably
guys.
would have had it at number 7 if I went 10.
I get so much shit, but man, I just can't get into those guys. I've tried, and it just don't connect. I don't know. It just don't connect for me.
Well, okay, so the previous albums, I've liked just a couple of songs off those albums. Not like every song on there. It's a hit or miss. But now this album, I could sit there and listen to this one all day. For some reason, man, it's just, that's it, guys. It's like that's it. That's it. But who am I? I don't know. This is just my opinion. But good stuff on this album.
You're
Very
the
good
bod,
stuff.
John. Come on, man.
That's right. I'm not going dabo. I'm not going to do the dab because that's weak. Anybody who dabs is weak. Beartooth, below. That's in my top 5. Now, here's where it's going to get a little tricky. These are all heavy bands, but one group that nobody mentioned about, and I'm kind of going on a limb here, but this album really caught me kind of off guard, and I really like this. I'm a big horror guy. Not horror. I like horror. I'm talking about like horror movies. That's what I'm talking about. Ice Nine Kills, Welcome to Horrorwood, The Silver Scream 2.
That would have been number 6 on my list.
See, very good. All right, rule next year, top 10s. Top 10. That would have been my number 12 if I'd went to 20 on that one, or top 15. No, we're going 15 next. No, 10. 10, I'm sorry, 10. Godzilla, Fortitude. That's my number 3. And number 2, man, All Hail the Yeti. That, like I said, that I'm sorry, I'm a huge Black Label fan, Metallica fan, but if I had to choose just one album for this year to keep for the whole year, that would be it. Hands down. And I know Josh is gonna know who my number 1 is. Black Label Society, Doom Crew Incorporated. I love this album. There's a little bit of hit and miss on some of it, but overall, man, I like it. So yeah, those are my top 50 albums of 21.
The Black Label album has a lot of flavor, man. It's up tempo. It's slow. It's got a little bit of psychedelic feel at times. It's got a lot more effort to it. It seems like than this past couple of releases have. I do think Zakk Wylde is one that slowing down for the pandemic certainly helped.
Oh, tremendously. Yeah, tremendously.
Because he doesn't stop ever. So
Right, yeah.
Derek, I want to jump to you right fast again, my friend. How was the touring this time around, especially going through the pandemic and everybody coming out of the pandemic? How was the turnout for the shows and things like that? Did you see more difference this time around versus not having a pandemic? Or what?
Definitely different. The crowds are actually really good from what I was anticipating. So that's, a pretty good step. Of course, each state, place, different regulations, different things to follow.
Sure.
Different, people coming in masks or staying in masks, some not, It was definitely a interesting experience this time around with everything happening. It did all turn out way better than I was thinking. So think that's a good sign. I did the road with Davey, and before Davey, I did like a week or so with Twisted. Those are great crowds, big crowds. So people are coming out and doing stuff. Just a little different each place you go.
Do you guys think that when we get back into 2022, possibly are we going to have more festivals coming out? Are we going to have, since it's Decepticon virus or Omicron virus, whatever you want to call it, is coming out? Yeah, the unicorn, unicrown, unibrow, whatever it's called, that one too. I mean, do you think we're going to get back to some festivals, some more concerts, or you think this is going to be shut down? Because look at all these sports that are canceling games and going into protocols. What y'all's thoughts, man?
Man, I got a bunch of shows lined up, so nothing gets canceled. But,
I think we'll slow down, but I think we've kind of learned how to live with it also. You know what I'm saying? Like, I work in the medical field, and I can go ahead and tell you, man, the numbers are starting to go through the roof really fucking quick. Like, we went back to like DEFCON 1 situation at my hospital with all the rules, regulations, you know. But I think we've learned to live with it a little bit. I don't necessarily think everything will get canceled like it did before, just, you know, a complete halt. But I think we've just have learned over the past few years how to deal with it, you know, situation to situation.
Yeah, I think you're right. It at some point, you know, I think we're all kind of having to learn as we go, you know, and even the people making some of these regulation calls, and the path has to eventually get to you, for better or for worse. There's got to be adaptability, you know. I mean, you hope that it goes away, but I don't know if that's realistic or not. But
just navigating through it.
Yeah. I do think if, you know, I was actually going to ask you, Derek, the sense I get when I've been to shows is and I've been to a few now. There's a sense of like, oh, thank fuck. It's like we're out, we're seeing things again. And people seem, you know, mask or no mask, there's a sense of just, relief just to be back out at a show again is how I felt. You've been on tour, so I don't know if you're feeling that, but
no, I think for sure, like, people are happy to be back out, and not that the sense of people going to shows or seeing tours took it for granted, but I think now people that are at shows and coming out, like, it's more, I guess, love in that sense. Like, they seem way more into it and, you know, just thrilled to be there and actually doing something and seeing live music and being out catching that. So I agree with that.
Yeah, Judas Priest is on tour right now, I think, or they're getting ready to go back on tour. They had to reschedule, so they're getting ready to go back on tour. Korn also. Chevelle's going to be on there with them, and I'm going to go see the Trinity of Terror tour, which, I mean, that's Black Veil Brides and Ice Nine Kills and Motionless and White. Hey, it's Eastern Kentucky. It's something to do. It's a show. And Josh and Kevin knows this as well as I do. In Eastern Kentucky, if you got a show like that, heavy metal, go support it. Because get out of your damn house and go to it, because
you got to show them that we're willing to come out for it.
That's exactly right.
My band has done one show since pandemic, but we also did a record number of merch sales at that show. So I kind of agree with you, man. The crowds are eating it up when you can get out to it. I mean, they're happy to be there for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with that, because it seems like every show I went to over the past year, it's almost like I got emotional just being with the people and hearing the live music. You know, I love live music. That's one of my favorite things in the world is live music. And just being amongst the people and hearing the music, it just, you know, it's amazing. And, you know, I hope nothing, you know, slows down to where we cancel shows and things, because I think people need it. People need to be out to to go to the shows.
Oh, for sure. So, okay, let me go to this route then. Hang on just one second, guys. Empty VTV says, wow, pardon, been listening. Thank you for stopping in and listening. We tremendously appreciate it. Do you think that if these festivals, you know, especially like Danny Winter Presents, because he puts on a hell of a festivals all year long, well, not all year, but, you know, festival season wise, great festivals. Do you think that these festivals would have been done? Because look at all the money that they've been losing. Or am I just, you know, thinking crazy outside the box here?
You mean as far as like if
it done. I mean, just can't do it no more. You know, I mean, losing all that money.
Well, they
Yeah.
have insurance on those shows too, though.
Yeah.
So, like when Louder Than Life got flooded out that year, things like that, they have insurance on things like that.
And if bands cancel, they have replacements ready to go to fill their spots. You know, that happened to a couple of bands at Louder Than Life. They had to cancel out, and they had replacements ready to go.
I'm ready to go right
Well,
now.
the other thing with the shows too that you know, there's the monetary aspect, but I had tickets to go to Knotfest and I ended up not going, but everything I heard about that was that you know, the concession stands were all poor, like they couldn't get staff. And if that's
an issue.
And that becomes an issue where, yeah, it's just all it takes is 2 or 3 of those, you know, those festivals you're talking about, John, to get some word to travel around that it sucks to go to them. And I think that could be a serious nail in the coffin, you know. And I'm spoiled because I'm in the Chicago area, so everything comes through here. So, you know, if I'm gonna not go to a festival, there's pretty good chance I'll be able to see them at a theater or something too. But you know, the rest of the country, you know, I think that's a real danger. The shortages, and you know, no one's gonna want to go to a festival where they got to spend the whole time waiting in line for a beer. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Issues got to be sorted.
And that's what I was going to bring this up too about the Korn and Judas Priest and Chevelle and all those guys. I mean, Charleston is pumping out the shows here coming up here shortly. I mean, they are pumping them out. And the Priest is going to be there on a weekend. So that's going to be good because last time Slayer came through, if I'm not mistaken, and they played through the week. And that didn't turn out so well. But like, you know, like I found out, these venues can only get these bands when they can get them, you know. So, I mean, you and Derek know a lot about that.
It all equals out, John. The thing is if Slayer's playing Charleston on a Tuesday night, they get them for a lot cheaper than what you would get them for on a Saturday night. So the loss isn't as great as what you would think, you know, because there's less people there on a Tuesday night. That there's compensation for that.
I play every night, and my sales keep going down, motherfuckers.
I will say, Dave, you are lucky to be in such a great area. I've been to Chicago 3 times. Twice to see Black Sabbath and once to see AC/DC. So,
right on.
I always wanted to go to Wrigley Field, and I finally did when I saw AC/DC there.
Oh, so, yeah. Nice. That was a couple years ago.
Yeah, two birds in one stone right there. Yeah.
But Derek, you're in Cleveland, right, Derek?
Yeah, I'm up here right now.
So you get a lot of stuff coming through there too, a lot.
Yeah, it's been pretty active. It's kind of, you know, not spoiled either way, but that was Atlanta and Cleveland, so usually those are the markets somebody comes through. So I've luckily, you know, been in 2 places where there's a lot of live music action.
So what's kind of shocked you guys in music, or maybe just in society itself, through 2021 so far? Well, what's the biggest shock that's happened this year, you guys think, possibly?
Oh. Boy, that's tough.
Yes, sir.
I don't know that there's been a shock. I mean, it's been a slow growth of more and more shows, you know, albums, but I mean, I don't know that anything's been shocking.
Okay, let's go this route then.
Yeah.
What? I knew I'd fuck something up, damn it. All right. So
it's shocking. It's shocking in this world we live in right now with album sales the way they are, that a lot of artists did put out records they couldn't promote and tour for.
That's true.
Because really, you know, in the day you toured to promote your record, and now you put out a record to promote your tour. So really, to put out an album, you know, through the pandemic and not be able to tour for it immediately was kind of shocking for anyone.
I think it's interesting. I guess, Derek, you hit on it that, you know, you mentioned that Limp Bizkit album being, you know, one of your top, and it surprises me how much stuff from the late 90s, early 2000s is, you know, just not even any specific bands, but just genres. Like, you know, here in Chicago, it feels like there's a big Wax Trax revival, which I guess is late 80s, early 90s. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff from there that seems to be getting really hip again. And I think that's cool. You know, I mean, that's good for me. But, in terms of just kind of, I don't know if I'd say it's shocking, but more just kind of remarkable that like, wow, that's really cool. Those, vibes from 20 years ago seem to be getting big again. From what I could tell, Slipknot's about to put out an album a lot like Iowa,
Mhm.
They've been saying that the last 3 albums, though.
Well, that single really sounded okay.
Yeah, the single had the sound though for sure.
Yeah.
No question.
Which I love Slipknot, and I'm not knocking Slipknot whatsoever, Dave. You know that, but it's like every couple albums, man. It sounds like Iowa.
So I think that's cool. And with that, this past year with Mudvayne getting back for the festivals, like that's cool from that era. So I remember there was like this one meme of like within a week, it was like, Mudvayne played, Slipknot put out a new song, Limp Bizkit put out a new album. It's like, what year is it? And I'm like, that's pretty cool though.
Well, that's the thing.
Guys, thinking about those reuniting. I don't know if you've checked out those Black Sabbath remaster boxes and the things that Steve Wilson's been doing, but Porcupine Tree's back too. And but I have a buddy who's a big audiophile guy, and he's been cluing me into what Steve's been doing with the going back to those albums. And Jesus, that's cool.
Yeah, all those super deluxe albums are amazing. They always have like outtakes and shit like that, and that's the stuff I love. But I will say, going back to what he said a second ago, the Mudvayne reunion, that was shocking. I didn't really see that coming.
Oh, yeah.
Until John told me about it way before anybody else did. I got to give him credit on that.
And I couldn't say nothing because I was a good guy. I asked professionally. I was like, look, would you want me to say anything about this before it goes like crazy? And the person said, no, that's actually the band. I would, I shouldn't have said anything, but that's the band. Thank you for asking. See, I could have been an ass and just did it anyway. But I'm respectful.
You can say it now. That was Sahaj from Raw that told you that, right?
Yeah, and supposedly they are working on a new album. So I don't know if that's true or not, but we shall see. Things do happen. So, but I was professional about it. I asked the right way because I didn't want to be. I want to come back on my show. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like, that's not me. That's not my cup of tea. So, what about deaths this year? Does it seem like this year there have been more shocking deaths? Why do I keep going shocking? But more, I don't know, mind-blowing deaths this year in rock and metal and thank you, Derek. Unexpected. Thank you. But yeah, it just seems like there's been more unexpected deaths that I didn't think would be coming. That's me. Like Joey Jordison, I never seen that coming.
Mm-hmm.
That was a tough one.
Yeah.
Very.
Yes.
And that only didn't affect like the metal world, that also affected the punk world. Like Murder Dolls, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Joey did some amazing stuff. He wasn't just an amazing drummer. I mean, he played guitar and bass. I mean, he did everything in between. So he had several bands that, man, that's good stuff. And
that one's
it sucks.
Super rough.
Yeah.
Like on a personal level of really Slipknot being like the first band I got obsessed with and went full in on and followed them for so many years. And then I found out about Murder Dolls because I was like, oh, Joey's in this band, so it must be cool. And then that kind of opened my whole world to like the horror punk rock side of stuff. And then, from that and the bands I'm in now, only because of that. And then knowing people that knew Joey personally and that level, that death has been definitely a rough one to deal with.
Yeah, even still today, it's still not easy, because when you think of Slipknot, you think of George Hunt and you think of Paul Gray. I mean, it's just hands down. And I'm just gonna say right now, without those two, there'd be no Slipknot. Would not be no Slipknot. I don't care what anybody says. There'd be no Slipknot.
Yeah.
So
Joey was probably my favorite drummer of all time. I mean, he was just absolutely incredible. And I guess the thing that he's known for is, as people say, he brought blast beats to the mainstream.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And then we lost. Forgive me, I'm forgetting his name. ZZ Top bassist. You know,
Yeah.
Dusty Hill.
Dusty. So
Yeah.
to me, when these guys, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was really surprising just because he played like the week before he was playing shows.
Yeah. They played a show close to us. I live near John, and
stay away from me.
It was literally like 4 days before he died, but Dusty wasn't there, and his tech filled in for him that night. And the fucking crazy thing is his tech looks just like him. So if you saw photos, it would be like, but yeah, his tech filled in that night, and he passed away like 4 days later. So
yeah, Josh ain't lying about that. He looks exactly like him because it wasn't
had the beard. I mean, fuck yeah.
Not as long as his, but just short. But like Josh, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. He was playing another show with the fill in.
Yeah, and then I don't know if he's out with them now full time or what, but
looked identical to him, just a slimmer version.
Yeah,
that was it. Weird.
We also lost Joe Diffie this year, right, to COVID. We got a problem outside the jukebox.
I think that was
okay. That might have been last year, but
yeah.
I
agree with you. I'm a '90s country fan, and that one hurt too. I agree with you.
Yeah, this guy right here, Kevin, is a big Miranda Lambert fan. I don't blame him.
No. Carrie Underwood.
Oh, sorry, Carrie Underwood.
No, we all are big Carrie Underwood fans. Come on.
Carrie called me the other night. She called me.
Charlie Watts surprised me just because, or not.
Yes.
Not so much surprise, but just like that reality, like, okay, those guys really are getting to where,
Right.
Yeah. Well, he was out too, right? Like just weeks before that, he played, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
The crazy thing is, man, is I saw a video of the Rolling Stones not too long ago, maybe a week or so ago, and Mick Jagger's still jumping around on the stage. I'm going, dude, that's incredible. How are you still doing this? You're going to break a hip or something. You're done.
I saw the Stones at Soldier here in Chicago in it must have been 2019, and he still has the ramp, and they still sound. I mean, they still bring it. I mean, they were doing Painted Black and that stuff, and they had that album. I forget what it's called, but that one where it's all the blues, like just all these old blues songs.
That was killer. Yeah, I love that album. I can't remember what it was called either. Like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe.
That stuff, and awesome. Like, dude, that's some of those bands you see them just to say you saw them, but they still put on. Paul McCartney, same way, still killer show. And so with or without Charlie, I still think that's a ticket worth seeing.
I mean, we're looking upper 70s with those guys. You know what I mean? Like 77, like upper 70s for the Stones and for McCartney, right?
I thought the Stones were in their 80s at least.
Well, Charlie, 80s. He was 81, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Jeez, man, just imagine.
Mick and Keith are there yet, but that's weird.
Another
stuff in their 80s, though.
Yeah, go ahead, Derek.
Which technically it's literally I think last year, but they announced it this year. Counted is Alexi from Children of Bodom.
Yeah.
It was another hard one to swallow that happened.
I actually got to see Children of Bodom the first time I saw Black Label. It was Black Label, Children of Bodom, and Clutch that played in Louisville. And yeah, I liked his guitar playing. I don't know exactly what happened, how he passed away or anything like that. I got my suspicions, but I hope that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
But to lose him, how old was he? Like 79. So I was born in 79. So he's 42 now? He'd been 42.
Yeah.
So we lost him at probably 41 years old. That's too young to die, folks.
Yeah.
Way too young.
One's another same as Joey was, like drumming wise for that kind of thing. He was kind of, obviously guitar wise, there's a bunch of people, but he was kind of an innovator within, that era of metal and stuff.
Oh, sure.
So big soul there.
Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, as I say, the one time I saw Children of Bodom was at the House of Blues here, and they pulled the cord on them. It's the only time I've ever seen that happen. But
wow,
they because there's a hotel right there, and they were playing past their time, and like literally just everything stopped. It was them, a Monomarth, and Trivium, and it was
I went to that tour too.
Yeah, but like just suddenly the stage everything just stopped.
Wow.
Like, holy shit, they actually did it.
They actually did it.
I have a good Bodum story too. I saw them in Louisville. They were on the Megadeth tour, and the crowd was so insane that they broke through the barricade, and they had to go off stage until they fixed the barricade. Then they came back out and finished the set.
Oh wow,
That's cool. Yeah,
I remember that story.
Shows like that.
For the record, I googled while I was sitting here. Mick Jagger is 78.
really?
Yeah.
He looks like
years.
Yeah.
So what have each of you found out more about yourselves during this pandemic, man? I wonder what each of you found out more about yourselves during all this. You go, I want out of this damn house. I'm tired of these kids. Leave me be. Let me play my game. What's going on?
Well, I would say I actually ended up quitting drinking this year just because.
There you go.
Congratulations.
I found out I pretty much drank my life's supply in the first year of lockdown. And so, I quit. So I found out I have, just because of that, I have way more time, to do things. Just because, I'm not basically nodding off at, or clocking out at the end of the night. But I think that, and I think I've gotten a lot better at just kind of like not thinking too far into the future, like think of things in month increments, not a year out. Because I think everyone had to kind of learn, because there's so much more uncertainty, about like who knows what things could be like in 5 months. So why about, let's just worry about the next little while. So I've gotten I find myself getting a lot less making long-term plans and being more kind of in the moment.
It's cool.
Derek?
Yeah, along with that and drinking the supply away, I definitely did that in 2020. So, working on changing those sort of things. This year, for the most part, kind of the realization of not doing something for so long or doing anything and feeling that kind of rut and like, well, what's the point, this and that. And then I remember it was like May, I got offered to join this band Crossbreed, who was like big in the 2000s. That was cool. So I was like, all right, cool. And then 3 days later, I got the offer to join Twisted, which is cool. So little things of that, of being like, you know what? All right, I am here to do something and get back to doing it, and kind of just the bright side, I guess, of seeing things coming back and being more mindful and these opportunities after feeling of doing nothing for a year, be like, what's the point? Then opportunities arising and be like, you know what? Okay, cool. Things are looking up. Just be more positive and, like you said too, just not make long-term plans or think long-term, just do in the now and focus on that, and kind of just be in that realm is something that I've learned. And then especially for certain things of putting stuff off for people, we'll do it next time or next week. It's like, no, you don't really know what's going to happen. So just kind of be in the now and do things as you should.
Kevin Rooney?
Yeah, I guess the thing I learned the most through all this is you don't realize how much you miss being around people. Going to concerts, going to sporting events, hanging out with friends and family. When all that gets taken away all of a sudden and you're just in isolation by yourself, I mean, it could really get to you. And I think that's what you take for granted, being with your friends and family. And I think that's what I learned the most from all this.
Joshua Osborne?
For me, honestly, life didn't change a whole lot because I work in the medical field. So, and as does my wife. So, like, it was routine for us, except for having to find a babysitter every day for the kids. That was the only thing that was really different. But, it definitely makes it puts things in perspective, that it can be taken from us, really quick. But, in the time that COVID has happened, I have begun a podcast that was kind of new for me. My band has always been my main focus for the past 15, 16 years. And now I have something new to occupy my time. And I really enjoyed that so far. So that's been cool. But yeah, for the most part, life hasn't changed too much for me. But
Yeah.
And who kept, like, say, you got to do this podcast? Who kept up your ass
yeah.
the past 3 months for that? Who was that person?
Yeah, John's the one that pushed me to do it, man. I do appreciate him for that. I really do, man. It's been, and we've really taken off quick, so it's been an excellent start. So yeah, I do appreciate him for that.
Yeah, man, because I was like, you love Ozzy. Why don't you do this podcast with Dan, who's also a walking encyclopedia of Ozzy Osbourne? You guys know more about Ozzy than Ozzy himself.
We call ourselves we've developed a term.
More about Ozzy than Ozzy.
We've developed a phrase for it. We're called Ozzy historians. That's what we call ourselves. We decided nerds was too much, so we're just gonna go Ozzy historians. But yeah, it's been a blast. And now, like, literally, not to pat ourselves on the back, but like, we have like Ozzy's band members liking our shit on Instagram and coming on the show and stuff. So it's grown really. We've only been at it for like 3 months.
Hell yeah, it's awesome.
So we had Rudy Sarzo on last week, and he fucking told us oodlums of stories, man, from his time touring with Ozzy and Quiet Riot and stuff. So it was cool.
You're welcome.
I've had Randy Rhodes. I had his, I'm a Randy Rhodes fanatic. We had his sister and brother on one of like our 5th episode or something. It was crazy. So that's done really well.
I've done said it, man. Music saved my life from committing suicide one night. And if I can help somebody else to achieve something that they love, I'm going to do it. So, yeah. Josh kept talking about, man, Ozzy this and all that. I was like, you need to do a fucking podcast, dude. Well, me and Dan's been talking about the horse shit. Don't talk about it. Do it. Just jump in and do it.
He did. He pushed us to it, man. He was very instrumental in doing that.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's Ozzy. Everybody knows Ozzy.
And talking music is fun. And like the first half of our show, we always just talk whatever we want to. So like, it ain't just Ozzy. We can talk about, the new Jerry Cantrell record if we want, whatever. It don't matter. Just, whatever is going on, we can discuss that the first half of the show. Then the second half, we do the topics. So yeah, it's definitely a good time.
Yeah, that's cool. And I definitely like the Black Label Society top list. You guys did a Black Label top albums of Black Label.
Yeah, we ranked the albums. Yeah.
That was a good episode. Seriously, check out that podcast. It's pretty good.
I appreciate that.
For me, I'm going to have to go the same lines with you guys. But for me, I guess where I sit and I think a lot, I just got to the point where I just said, screw it. I'm going to start doing what I feel is right. And that's why I made that post, because I don't ever post any pictures of myself. And I'm finally getting out of that funk of so many years of not having self-confidence where I just don't care no more. I like the way I look. If nobody else likes it, fuck them. It's just plain and simple,
Exactly.
No one's perfect. You know what I'm saying?
No.
That's the beauty of getting older too. Just like the less of that shit you care about,
Yeah, it's like
right.
I feel like I missed on so many opportunities of sitting back on the sidelines of asking this girl out to go have dinner, just to eat, man, nothing more, just to go eat dinner, and I'm not going to do that no more. I'm not going to sit here and go, well, I guess I should have asked her. No, dumbass, you're going to ask. It's either yes or no. They're going to do it or not. But yeah, I'm along those lines. I'm just, I'm tired of just sitting on the sidelines. You know what I mean? So you get to that point where you're just like, I look fine. You finally realize to yourself, you look fine, man.
Yeah, you're you, wrong. Man.
I'm John the mother bod. That's what I am. So
the way John flirts now with girls, he's like, "So you want to come on my podcast?" and they're like, "Yeah."
Oh my god! So I got a podcast. I got a hey, open. You want to be on it? I swear to God. I swear to God. You take buddy. Anyway. So Dave, are you going to be putting out anything for 2022? Or are you just going to be working on stuff for maybe later on at the end of 2022?
I think we'll get it. We'll have another derision called out this year. Like I said, earlier, we're in demos now, lining up some remixers and some guests to be on it. So I would be shocked if I don't have that done by the end of the year. So yeah, I think that'll happen. but that's probably the only music project I have. Whether I do anything live kind of remains to be seen. Kind of going back to what we were saying, I think about a month out right now. And so definitely nothing in the next month.
Yeah, and I'll definitely get Kevin Rooney on here to do some interviews with me too, to step in. Get you in here too, man. Get you doing some stuff. So on the podcast.
Kevin could do a rockin' podcast himself, man. He's into every fucking thing. He's into music, he's into movies, he's into video games, he's into chicks. Like Kevin, you can just do like your own podcast about whatever the fuck you want to talk about. Just talk about anything. It's Kevin Speaks. There it is. Kevin Speaks.
There you go. There's the title.
Kevin Speaks. Take this damn can of ravioli. Damn, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you all so much. And Josh, see, we went over past 9 o'clock. I don't have to have them.
I'm proud of you. I'm convinced you did it because I busted your balls about it earlier, but I'm proud of you.
Oh my God.
You got one more question to ask us all, man, before we go. What are we looking forward to in 2022? Any releases that you guys are excited about? I got a couple in mind that I'm definitely excited about.
Yeah, exactly. Go right ahead.
Ozzy Osborne, man. Sony has the new Ozzy down for the first quarter of 2022, so a single should be dropping any fucking day. I'm hoping my podcast goes through the roof when it does. We'll see. But also the new Megadeth. Totally excited for Megadeth, man. I love fucking Megadeth. What was it called? The Dying and the Dead. Yeah, so that's gonna be excellent. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I would echo that Megadeth for sure. I'm excited for that.
Dystopia was so good. So I'm definitely excited for him to follow it up. Yeah.
Kevin?
Of course, the Ozzy album will be great. I can't wait to listen to that. We'll also probably get a new Slipknot album and a new Ghost album this year.
Yeah.
Those are definitely high on my list.
Yeah, I want to talk about Ghost right fast, guys, if you don't mind. What y'all think about the single for the Halloween Kills?
Loved it.
I loved it. Yeah.
It was really cool playing it during the end credits of the movie as well. It was well done.
It was a different version in the movie. Did you notice that? Yeah.
God, when I saw them at Louder and Live, I was like, what's your name off The Simpsons? Instead of watching it. Love Ghost, man. Love them.
Yeah. Same, man.
I think they could sell out arenas. That's just me. I've heard others complain about them, like they're not a arena touring band to sell out. I'm like, why aren't they?
Well, they're doing an arena tour, right? But they're co-headline with Volbeat.
Yeah,
which is a cool fucking show.
Oh yeah,
last time they played here. They did the Allstate Arena, and I'm pretty sure they were headlining that.
See, that's what I'm saying. They are
a 2019 in arena, the headlining, so they definitely could do it. And then this upcoming tour of Volbeat and Twin Temple was actually badass too. That's just gonna escalate them even bigger.
Who did I leave off on? Dave, what about you?
That Megadeth, the Megadeth album, I'm definitely excited for. There's rumor has it that Lard album with Jello and Al is coming out this year, so it's been too long for that. So those are mine.
Mr. Derek, what about you, my friend?
I think I agree with everything everybody has said. Definitely stoked for a new Slipknot. Hopefully, surprise, maybe a Mudvayne something.
Hopefully, yeah.
That would be great.
At least, if it's not an album, maybe they'll do like a full tour or something. So that's what I'm hoping for in 2022.
Even though this last Slipknot album was I mean, of course, wasn't like Iowa, but still it was damn good. It was
loved it.
Yeah, it was killer.
Yeah. All right, folks. I want to thank each and every single one of you all for tuning in, listening to us, watching us, and just sitting back and relaxing and have a good time. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Please be safe. If you drink, take somebody with you to bring you home. I don't want anybody to have to go to a funeral. Let's not do this. Let's not start this out the way it, for 2022. Let's get your all's asses back home so you can come back on and watch BODS Mayhem Hour's podcast. And Diary of the Madman, and plus go to all these festivals and all these giveaways and stuff. Tickets I've got to give away, and I just want to give a quick shout out to Josh for always helping me out when he can for all my photos and things like that, because I tremendously suck at it. I suck at thought.
Man, they're not great, but fuck, at least I can put some writing on them. It's all good. I'm glad I could help. I'm glad I could help, man.
Who cares? I like them. They fit what we do, Josh. That's all that matters. You know what I'm saying?
Just a little app called PixArt. So
yeah. So I also want to thank Ryan Beavers, who did my logo for Beyond the Paranormal podcast. Thank you, man, for doing anything. I think he's getting ready to do a BODS Mayhem Hour 1 too. So I'm going to give him some. We're going to work out a deal on that one because I don't want him to do this for nothing. It's stupid. Dom Calzola, Father Dom from the well, Lord of mercy, I'm losing my train of thought here. Anyway, Father Dom, thank you for doing all of my flyers for my special events that I have on BODS Mayhem Hour. That's very cool. I'm glad you're helping me out, and just everybody in general, man, who helps out with the show and gives me new bands to check out and get on here, and just everybody that I get to get an interview with and talk to. This is, like I've always said, it's not for me, it's for all of you all. So that's first and foremost. And have a good New Year's, guys. And Monday we'll have a new guest for BODS Mayhem Hour, and then for next Friday, hopefully we'll have a new BODS Mayhem Hour live podcast. I know in January we're going to take a break. We're definitely going to take a week break because it's definitely deserved. I've been pushing at this and pushing at this and pushing at this, and maybe BODS Mayhem Hour get a big backer so we can get some huge interviews on here. But every interview that comes on here is huge for me. So don't misunderstand that or misconstrue it. But yeah, I would like to get some big, huge ones on here. Everybody would. So that's nothing I'm going to be working on. Because I'm due. I was going to say right now, I'm due. I worked my ass off on this. And I did.
He's acting like he don't get beat. He's had fucking like... Well, I mean, you've had some good interviews this past year, John. Don't say yourself short.
Your Frank Bello interview was incredible.
It was fucking excellent.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that. I tremendously appreciate that. But I'm not stopping. I'm not giving up. One day at a time.
I mean, he has had Dave Mustaine on here, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? Like we're sitting here drooling over some new Megadeth, and he's interviewed him personally, and acts like he's never had anybody on the show. I mean, come on,
yeah,
come on, John.
That was like 10 years ago.
Still, you had him.
Well, that's true.
If you slept with the chick, she went on to be Miss America. You still slept with her. You know, it counts.
I'd call her up again and be like, "Hey, girl, what's going on?"
You need to pay for a cameo with Dave, and then when he gets on there asking why he hasn't fucking been back on the show.
I think we should pass the hat around, pitch in for that.
Yeah, do a cameo and ask all these questions like, "What's your favorite?" This is Dave Mustaine. I like pigs. I like whatever. And like all these questions, like, what the hell is this? You know, that'd be
Just 5 seconds of a new song.
That's a good idea. That's a great idea. Anyway, folks, thank you all so much. And please check out Josh's podcast. Check out Dave's stuff that he has. Check out the Casket Creatures, Davey Suicide, all that stuff. And Kev does his own thing.
Check out Community Trust Bank for Kevin.
There you go.
He's a banker in his day job.
Yeah, and don't you sass Kentucky because he'll come at you with claws.
There you go.
But anyway, folks, please subscribe to BODS Mayhem Hour. Just go to the YouTube and subscribe to BODS Mayhem Hour. Thank you all so much. Thank you guys for being on here. I totally appreciate it.
John.
Totally appreciate it.
We'll see you guys.
All righty,
See you guys.
Y'all have a good, I start to say have a good Thanksgiving. Jeez. Have a good New Year's Eve. There you go.